Hello again, welcome to another episode of Developing TodoDock. In the last episode, we added a new widget so that we can update the period of our tasks. So as you can see, if I change this, a notification appears and the task period is actually updated. Since the last episode, I just tweaked the widget a little bit in terms of appearance, and I match the label background color to the color of the task. So if I change the color, as you can see, it also changes. But other than that, we're exactly where we left off. So in this video, I'm going to add 3 types of tests to this new functionality. I'm going to add Jest tests, API Endpoint Tests, and Dusk tests. So this hopefully shouldn't take very long. But without further ado, just get started. Let's just get started. So I'm going to open up my new React component because we're going to start with Jest tests. It was, task period editor, right? That was our component. And again, I'm going to just steal this test and paste it here, so that we don't have to type the boilerplate. Actually, the context, the scope of the tests I'm going to write now is very limited because this widget is very small. So I'm just going to make sure that the period is visible. The period is matching the actual task period, and this color matches also. And that's it. This is the only thing we're going to deal with regarding Jest tests. So let me update the name as well. I'm just going to call it, for now, renders should render the period and label background correctly. All right, I'm going to get rid of the other test cases. All right, so what do we need for this? We don't need any router or a provider. We only need a task. And we don't even need a real callback either. So I'm just going to get rid of the provider and rename this as task period editor. What else? Color period, set period, submit. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna pass a mock function to the submit callback as the submit callback. So we could do something like this: const fn equals to just. I guess this was something like that. And the reason we are doing this is so that whenever we click somewhere else, do something that would normally save the period, we could just assert that this function is called, has been called once. So let me create a mock color. Actually, I'm just going to reuse those. Same thing for this one. Set period is, let me just quickly check. Okay, I'm gonna also, let me first double check something. I'm wondering if, set period accepts a period, an argument, I mean. So I'm not sure, but I'm just going to try to use this again. The first one I'm going to call set period, and the second submit. And let's see if we can get away with just a mock function for both of them. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is actually just see if I can render this thing. And npm t, what was the name? Task period enter test. Oh, I forgot to type test here. Yeah, we're importing the wrong thing. Also, this isn't needed. This isn't needed. This failed. Let's see why. Element type is invalid. Oh, you forgot to export your component. Okay, that's why I'm not using the default import here, I guess. So I'm gonna just try it again. Yeah, at least now we know that we can render this component. And now, as I told you, I'm gonna just check the period. Actually, I don't need this. I only need the period itself. Expect period to be in the document. Also, I'm gonna use this to have style test for the label. So the label is get by label text. I guess we need that. Actually, I'm not sure, but I'm just gonna try get by label text. I mean label. This is period because it never changes. To have style background color. So what we are doing here is we are passing this color and checking if the style matches. Also, we're giving this period and checking if we can see it on the component. So let me try to run this. I'm just going to fix that. I noticed that I'm passing the wrong thing. I can just get rid of those, I think. Has already been declared. Oh, okay. Let me call this value, because we already have a period variable. I'm gonna also import the fire event. Actually, yeah, let me import it. Matcher test is not a function. What are you talking about? There's something wrong. What if, oops, what if I do something like this? I'm just trying to see if it's a string integer issue. Get by text period. Oh, the value. Yeah, actually we are trying to see the text, but this doesn't count as text. Okay, so let's Google React testing get input value. Jest tests are my least favorite tests to write, to be honest. I don't know why. Input value to be, okay. I don't know if it is what I'm looking for. Okay, I now understand. This lets you access the actual input that the label points to. So this is actually the input, not the label. So if we say get by text, then we get the label. But when we say get by label text, we get the actual input. So yeah, expect input value to be something. To be period. But the issue is I don't think I correctly set up my label. So this label should be for, was it for? I guess it was. I forgot the syntax for this actually. Let me try, and if it fails, I'm gonna look it up. We were giving the input name to the for attribute, if I remember correctly. Yeah, HTML4. That works for me, if it works for you. Let me, in the meantime, look that up so that we don't lose time. Yeah, it's valid in HTML, but not in JSX. I was looking for this thing, but anyway. Found a label with the text of period. However, no form control was found associated. I'm using the for. Was it for the ID? Let me just HTML4 also label input. Student ID is okay. We have to give the ID. All right, that's easy. Let's give this task period editor input and oh, I thought I was going to save some typing, but it didn't work. Okay, let me try once again. By the way, I also don't know yet how to trigger the submit and update period callbacks. Okay, this is very easy to fix. We just have to convert it to a string. Where was my test? Will this work? I hope it does. So my issue is I'm defining those set period and submit mock functions, but I have to somehow trigger them. So input event. Can we submit? Do we even have a submit in this form? I don't know. Yeah, we don't have a submit. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to skip that for now and just give directly. And maybe I'll later add those triggers because I don't want to lose any more time here. Yeah, and this passed. Actually, this meets my needs. I'm making sure that the period is rendered correctly and also the color is equal to the task color. We don't also need this one. And that's it. So let's go ahead and commit that. All right, so the next objective is to add an API endpoint test. So let's go to our test directory, and inside feature we have our API endpoint tests. So here we have already an update task API test. So as you can see, there's update color, update name. Also, we have this update days left. So since this is also a numeric value and the validation is somewhat similar, I'm going to copy this and make changes here. Let's call this test update period. So as always, we're using the factory to create a new task and a user. We're logging in with the user. And since this is a patch request, we're calling this API endpoint with the patch method. And instead of days left, I'm going to say period. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check the invalid case like this one. This test is checking negative values, but we can't check 1 because in this case, a period of 1 is also invalid. It has to be at least 2. So this this HTTP response code corresponds to an invalid input. So this means that the validation has failed. Attempt illegal period update to anyway, I'm not gonna write anything else. So again here, period. We can keep this. Yeah, these are actually, let me comment the rest out and see that they pass. So this is how we run our API endpoint tests. So we go, we give the name of this method, test update period. As you can see, it passed. So how do we know it passed? How do we know that this isn't a false positive? Yeah, whenever I give 4, it says I received 200, not 422. So far so good. And now let me uncomment the rest. And yeah, let's use the 10 days in this test case too. So next date, not next date, but period. Let's call this period. Let me uncomment this. I don't think I need that. Because the days left works, how it works is you are just adding 10 days to this current date. So we need that operation. But when it comes to period, it just returns whatever you give. By the way, I want to make sure that we have a different period. So let me give it 5. So because by luck, if this creates a task with a period 10, even if that doesn't change our actual period, this could succeed. So in order to avoid that, I'm explicitly giving this a different initial value, different than this one. So by the way, this check ensures that whatever response we get, the JSON response, it contains this key and value. So it should contain a period key with a value of 10. Because that's what we give here. And like this check actually goes and fetches the task from the database after this succeeds, and also ensures that the value in the database is correct. Not just the response, but also actually the actual value as well. Yeah. Let's run this again. Yeah, it looks like this is passing. Update period. Okay, so this was pretty easy because we already had a template. All right, so our last objective is writing a Dusk test. So let me close this and open the browser directory. Under our tests directory, we should have a task edit folder, and inside it we should have, yeah, just like this one, test edit remaining days, but this is testing the old way. So you can edit the remaining days here, as you can see. I'm going to deprecate that. I'm going to also move this here. So what this test does is making sure that this functionality works. So in order to copying this one, I'm going to copy, let me see, not delete, edit task name. Yeah, I'm looking for that, because this is the most similar case right now. Test edit task period. All right, so yeah, I added a to do. I guess we can get rid of it here. So we are creating a task with a predefined name, so we should do the same for the period. We can use faker, but I forgot integer or digit. I guess it was digit. Let me just die and dump. I have to make sure that this works first. Also, we will get to run this once. And we go PHP artisan dusk listing. We don't use faker. Okay, we have to use faker. Let me grab it from an existing test. Yeah, I was looking for this import. And also use faker here. Now we should be able to, of course, save first. Yeah, now this should work. No? Unknown formatter digit. Random digit. Faker unique random digit. Actually, I don't want a unique. Random integer. Why is it so hard to find? Unique number, random number. Okay, I guess that's what we should do. Let me just say random digit. Okay, 7. But the issue with that is we could end up with 1, 0, or 2, which is not. Oh, okay, I can just add 2, right? Because even if we get 0, I can safely add 2 and make it a valid period. So we can uncomment. Actually, instead of just hard coding that, I can do this task min period days. Yeah. If we ever change this, this shouldn't break. Okay. Instead of name, I will give now the period. Okay, we're logging in. After logging in, we're opening up the task edit model. And we're waiting for the period to be visible. And let me show you, this corresponds to this. Whenever I open this, what? The period? Oh, okay, the days left. I updated the days left. So the period is still 34. So whenever I open it, I see 34. And that's what I'm asserting right here. And instead of appending, actually, I have to input. What was the name? I can check that from here, I guess. Task period. And let's see, new period. Let's add another random digit. Why not, right? So we will say new period. Oh, okay. We're first ensuring that even if we even if we change the period, like I made it 3, but if I close this, it shouldn't get updated. It should only get updated if I click somewhere else, or maybe pressing enter, but not this button. So we're just giving a new period, but in the end of the day, we still expect the old period. So we're clicking the model button, close model button, and wait until the model body disappears. And we still want to see the old period. And in the database, when we query this particular task, we want to find the old period as well. So let me comment everything below this and see if this works. The next test case is this is trying to set a blank name. In our case, we have to try to set an invalid period, just like we did for the API endpoint test. Undefined method input. How is this undefined? Was it type? Yeah, it was type. I mixed that up. Yeah, it passed. Nice. So let's go to the next test case. Again, we go to the edit model, wait for period, and this time, let me copy this. We will give, yeah, I'm gonna just grab this thing. Minimum period days -1. So I want to ensure that we are giving an invalid period value. So this allows us to click somewhere outside of the model. So I type 55 and click here. So this thing simulates that. Again, we are waiting for the model body to disappear. Yeah, we should see. Let's see what we should see. I don't remember. Task period cannot be less than 2. And we still expect to see the old period. Nice. Let's give it a shot. It failed. What? Oh, I forgot to update this. You should never copy and paste. I never do it, as you can see. It still fails. 9 matches expected null. Where does it fail? Here. Why? I don't know. So which one is the expected one? The first one is expected. We don't have a period. What do you mean we don't have a period? We have already created a task with this period. So you know what? I'm gonna just log this just after creating it. 3, yeah, it's not null. How can it be null? It's very strange. Let me try again. I don't know what's going wrong here. Yeah, it passed now. Well, it's very, very strange. While this runs again, I'm gonna clean that up, and instead of just editing this block, I'm just gonna copy that because it's gonna be very, very similar. Try to set, by the way, update the comment. Try to set valid period. Yeah, it passed again. Anyway, I can delete this. And instead of passing this one, now I'm going to pass max period days plus 1. And this time cannot be more than, we can make this dynamic if we want. And I don't really want it, but that's what we should do. Cannot be more than max period days. All right, we don't have to change anything else, I believe. And the final test case is going to be, let me check my notes. Okay, we don't have anything else other than testing a valid case. This passed also, great. So the new period, we already have a new period, we don't need this. Actually, why am I not just copying that instead of? I'm just going to pass the new period here and wait for text. What used to happen? I forgot. Task period updated. Okay, I want to see this. Did we get yeah, nothing in the end. And instead of period, we should be seeing now the new period. Also, we should see the new period in the database. If this also passes, I think we're good to go. We could also write a test case for this. So whenever I click, I change the color, I could assert that this label gets updated, the color of the label, I mean. Should I do that? Maybe we should add that to the color related test case. Let me see if this passed. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna just commit that and look at the other thing. By the way, I didn't commit the API endpoint, right? Yeah. Let me commit both. Okay, so we should have the color test somewhere here. Oh, the issue is I don't like to test styles from using Dusk. So even if I try to test it, I would have to look into the style attribute of this label HTML element, and that's not something I believe should be done while writing Dusk tests, because it's too low level to test with Dusk, I believe. I don't know. I'm also lazy, so I'm making up excuses right now. It might be the case too. Anyway, we've managed to write 3 types of tests for our new feature, and I feel very happy about that. And in the next episode, probably what we're going to do is we're going to just remove this capability of directly editing the number of days left from the panel. Instead, I'm going to create a new widget here, similar to this one, so that we can also edit the remaining days, similar to the period. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.